Hi guys, this is an Ascension update, an energy update, and I want to discuss how I see things going as far as the Ascension process is concerned, which is also our evolution of consciousness, our return to unity, the beginning of the new earth, the heralded golden age, the age of Aquarius. It's been called so many things throughout history. I'm sure you've heard at least one of those terms. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited because I'm really starting to feel these energies getting stronger. And not only that, because I've always felt the energies is pretty strong for years now, but I also notice other people awakening at more of a rapid rate, and that's amazing to see and to feel. I've really been seeing people sort of, I feel like there's like two camps right now. I feel like there's the people who are really letting their heart chakras open and really becoming more loving and more receptive to love in general, and really working on themselves, really doing the inner work, really seeking out practices and routines that are nurturing and healthy. And then I also see this other camp. Well, actually there's three camps. The second camp is like people who are kind of confused as to what's going on, and I see them like at the grocery stores and checkout lines. It's almost as if they're really trying to figure out what's going on. Like they're aware that something's different, they're aware that they feel something, but they don't know what or why it is. And I usually try to strike up a conversation with them. Maybe I'll talk about an upcoming eclipse, such as the one on January 20th, 21st. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but I'll try to talk to them about that, or a full moon that's coming, or a solstice, or something to kind of jog their internal memory about, the bigger picture of what's going on here, the higher plan that's playing out. And many times, I'll get a little bit of something. They'll be like, "Oh, really? So and so was talking about that, or I read about that. How does it affect us?" Or, "Oh, maybe that's why I don't feel so good." But then other times they actually just kind of shut down and say, "Oh, I don't think that has anything to do with it. I'm just under the weather," or "I think I caught a cold from a coworker," or something like that. Then there's this third camp of people that I feel like are kind of just going the other way. They're just kind of shutting down. They're kind of angry, and they don't know what's going on, and the only thing that they focus on is like the events, like the political events and basically the negativity, the bad news. That is where their consciousness is at. They're feeling like that the world is falling apart, and they're blaming, a president or this group or that group. They're still in like the blaming kind of mode, and they're also still in like the victim mode because they feel that this is all being done to them and it's all bad, and the world is just going to hell, So those are the three camps that I pretty much identified. I feel like most people fall into one of those. And the thing is, the world, the old world is falling apart, which is actually a really good thing because it needed to, right? So that is actually a good thing, but it's very scary to people. And so they automatically, what they fear, what they don't understand, they fear, right? But this time period that we are in now, this is not anything that should be a surprise to anyone. And this is something that's always actually surprised me personally, that anyone is shocked at what's going on. Because whether you have a religious upbringing or not, these things have been foretold for thousands of years throughout different cultures, and many different indigenous groups have all talked about this time period that we're in. They've maybe called it different things. Some have even called it the end of the world, because they didn't quite understand at their level of consciousness what could possibly come next after all the destruction. But many people have seen, ancient peoples have seen a golden age, and they've seen the return of Christ consciousness here on this planet, and a beautiful period of enlightenment and love, and returning to rightness, and returning to perfection in nature, with each other, perfect relationships, perfect sharing, all these things. And so, but in order to get to that point, all of the structures that weren't serving that weren't based upon love, didn't have the foundation of love, have to fall. They have to be destroyed. They have to collapse in order for this new paradigm to come in, right? So it's nothing to fear. It's actually a very exciting thing if you know what's going on, if you've been listening internally to your soul instead of listening externally to the news and to gossip and fear mongering, then you're not going to be afraid, because you have been on your journey. You've been looking inward for answers, and your soul is never going to lie to you. It wants you to know the truth. It gives you so many signposts, so many guides to help you with the truth. You'll be drawn to the right guides to give you the right message. Like maybe some of you have been drawn to my messages because you're resonating, and some of the things I'm saying are really ringing true for you, and they may be helping you connect some of the dots that have been missing. So trust that. You will always be given the next piece of information when you are ready for it. And you can also ask, you can ask for your higher self to guide you and to reveal truth to you. And then you just trust that it will, and you'll be guided to the right information. And it could even be like you're reading a book and certain words or a certain sentence just really pop out, almost like it's in like 3D, like coming out of the page, grabbing you. And it's like, I've had some moments like that lately with this book I'm reading. I'm reading a book called Outrageous Openness by Tasha Silver, Letting the Divine Take Lead. It's a cheap book if you want to buy it on Amazon, and it's only about that thick. So I'm actually like zipping through it because it's so good. But it's giving me so many of those confirmation moments, right? Where I'm like, oh yeah, this is exactly right. This is, some of it I've been doing for a long time. So I was like, wow, yeah, I'm on the right track because I already do that. And then there's other things that have been a really good reminder for me to start surrendering even more and to never worry. So I just want to bring you a message from that book right now before I close, because I think that it's such an encouraging book and we all need to do this. And maybe I'll make a separate video about surrendering. But people use the word surrendering and sometimes don't even really contemplate what it means and the importance and the magic of surrendering. But when we surrender our life, basically, Now, I'm not saying you're going to die or you're not going to be living, but you surrender your desires and purposes to, not to some, idol God in the sky, sitting on a throne or something like that, or an angry God, or God who is trying to control you. This is a surrendering to yourself. This is surrendering to your higher self, the divine self, your divine self. And that divine self is you. You're very familiar. This is not anything outside of you. So you surrender to yourself. And this is so beautiful, because only your highest self knows the perfect people, places, and things for you. And only your higher self knows how to completely fulfill you in the way that is going to be most fulfilling and most blissful and for you. You have your own unique I'm sorry, I just looked at the timer on my camera, and it said 11:11. I literally, right there, I was sort of in a zone. But so we're on the right track here, guys. And you surrender to whatever your higher self wants to bring you, whatever. And that doesn't just mean in your life. That means in your day, in your waking hours, right now, in this day. Okay, this Thursday. Is this Thursday? My days get mixed up. I think this is Thursday. Right now, to this day, what does your higher self want for you today? You may have a list of things that you think need to be done, and you think they're so important, and you're putting pressure on yourself, and you're worrying about it. Are you going to get them done? But really, there is already a divine order to your life. And I will make another video about surrendering in divine order, because this deserves its own explanation in depth. But you have a plan, you have a divine order for every day of your life, for every hour of your life. And when you realize that, then your only desire becomes, so you still have desire, okay? Some people say you're supposed to get rid of all desire and then you become enlightened. Well, I disagree, because I think desire is the actual force. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice a little bit. It's been raining here for 3 days, so I don't know. Maybe it's has to do with that. So desire. When you have desire, it motivates you towards something. So desires are good. Desires are good things. Desire is how we create, right? But I feel that your main desire, and really for me, it's become my only desire, because it's one and the same. In that one desire lie all my desires. Does that make sense? Is to be in alignment with my highest path, and to surrender to my divine purpose and path and divine order of how that's all going to unfold. And that is my only desire. And so in that, of course, I have things that I would like to see happen. But I trust that my higher self already knows that, right? It's already in your heart. So it's not like you have to, sit your higher self down and say, okay, look, I want to do this trusting thing here, but we got to get a few things straight. I have a list here of things, and I want to surrender. I really do. I want to trust and let go, but I really want to make sure that that I want this, and this, right? So don't worry, because of course your higher self knows what you want. If you were born with these things in your heart already, okay? So just try it today. I've been doing this consciously for a few days, and it's really fun, actually. My days are so much more interesting and exciting than what I could plan for myself. You know, like the other day I was just like, oh my God, I need to clean all day, right? Then I said, no, maybe that's not what I'm supposed to be doing today. So instead of forcing this feeling to come to me to make me desire cleaning, you know, that is hard. That's the hard road, right? That is the road of resistance, and just going against the grain, right, of what your soul really wants, and saying, no, I don't care. You know, you be quiet. You know, you quiet down. Get small and hush, because I'm this human and I have things to do. And I'm not saying, like, you know, maybe sometimes you do need to do that, because, you know, if you have kids or certain expectations. But even with that, you can actually learn to, because divine order, of course, includes your children. Divine order includes your partner, includes your pets, includes everything. It might not include your current job. I almost said that, but it might not. If your current job isn't good for you, it's probably not a part of your divine order or your highest path. But if you start surrendering with the small things when you can, like say when you have when you get off work, you have your evening ahead of you, okay? Instead of thinking, I have to do this, this, and this, think divine order, divine order. I surrender to divine order. I now ask for the signs to show me in which direction I need to move next. And then you just become like you're just along for the ride, you know? You're a spectator. I mean, yeah, you're taking actions and you're involved, but you're at the same time removed, just watching and paying attention to the hunches and the urges that you get, and you're just kind of following them. And you feel so good about yourself when you follow one of them to something so rewarding, and like maybe a new friend, or I don't know, like anything, even the smallest details. It could be a great cup of coffee that you didn't even realize you really needed at that moment. Or like the other day I went to a clothing store and I had the best time. You know, I go so many times when I go shopping, I don't find anything that I want. I walk out of so many stores and it's frustrating, because I think, who's designing these clothes? Like, where are the clothes that are right for me, that express me, you know? And I went into this boutique and I found so many things, and the owner was there and she was so awesome and helpful, and I left feeling like I was just beaming. It was such a really nice exchange, right? It helped her, it helped me, and now I have some beautiful clothes that I can't wait to wear. And it's just, I even found this belt that, like, I have a really hard time finding belts that I like, especially because I'm vegan and I'm trying not to buy anything that is leather, you know? I mean, if it's like at a used store or something, like a thrift store, I feel like, okay, it's already been bought. It's already like been bought from the manufacturer, and now it's here at this thing, you know? Sorry, I just get into this, but it's like, okay, you know, by not wearing it, it's not gonna bring the animal back to life. It's almost like honoring it by, you know, not just throwing it away. But if it's new, I don't buy stuff like that. Like if it's brand new. So I found this belt. Oh my gosh, it was like this woven belt that had a turquoise thing in the buckle. I love turquoise. I mean, it's so perfect. It's just like made for me. That's how I felt, and I couldn't even believe it, you know. And it's actually was more than what I would normally pay for something, but I loved it so much that I said no. Like, it doesn't matter what the price says. I mean, within reason, but it was like, I can't even look at that, because all I see is this belt that has been literally made for me in my mind, you know, and here it is, and it belongs to me. And then I gave her the things I bought. She ended up giving me half off of the belt. So, you know, that's freaking, even in your shopping endeavors, you can invoke divine order. That's all I want to say for now, guys. We have a solar eclipse, full moon coming January 20th and 21st. So you might have been feeling the energies coming up and bubbling stuff to the surface, and it can feel very intense. But hang in there, because it's all leading us home. These are all growing pains on the way back to unity. And I am very excited to get there, but I am now learning to enjoy the process as well. So I love you guys. Mwah. I'll talk to you next time.